I want to win as the president of the SSG this year. I'll make sure to attend the needs of every student in this university. I'm so excited!
Wow, that's great, dear, but hey, do you know what form of government the SSG exercises?
Form of government? Of course I know that. It's democratic.
That's right. The SSG is a democratic form of government. Do you want to hear some trivia? Okay. Sit tight and let's dive into the world of democracy and figure out the answer to the question, what is democracy? Did you know that the word democratic comes from the word democracy? Yes, democracy. Now, what is democracy? Democracy is defined as a form of government in which the right to rule is held by the people. It came from two Greek words, demos, which means the people, and kratin, which means to rule. A known Greek philosopher, Plato, argued that democracy has the tendency to result in tyranny, which means that there is a possibility that it will result in dictatorship. Meanwhile, his student Aristotle claimed that democracy is one of the three acceptable forms of government. Moving on, there are six elements of modern democracy. First would be the rule of law. Rule of law refers to the heart of the democratic government. It ensures that the right and freedom of the citizens are protected and that no one is above the law. Lastly, it also sees the citizens as equal under the eyes of the law. Second would be the separation of powers. It refers to the power distributed within the government. It also makes provisions for checks and balances to lessen the tendency for democracy to regress into dictatorship. There are three separate powers under the democratic government. First would be the executive power, which is in charge of the implementation of laws. Second would be the legislative power, which is in charge of the creation of laws. And lastly, the judiciary power, which is in charge of the interpretation of laws. Moreover, democratic government can be patterned into three different systems. First would be the presidential system. It is a type of government wherein a head of government, mostly a president, leads an executive branch that is independent from the legislative branch. Second would be the parliamentary system. It is a type of government where the citizens elect the member of the parliament and the party that wins the major seat elects the prime minister amongst themselves. The prime minister serves as the head of government and is distinct from the head of state. Lastly, the third would be the mixed system. It is a combination of the presidential and the parliamentary system where the citizens elect a president that not only has ceremonial functions but shares executive powers with the prime minister. Moving on, the third element of modern democracy would be the basic rights and freedom. These are the rights and freedom given to the citizens. These rights can be broadly categorized into human rights, civil rights, and political rights. Meanwhile, the basic freedoms recognized by the rule of law are freedom of speech, freedom of worship, and freedom of association. The fourth one would be suffrage. It is derived from the civil and political rights of the citizens as recognized under the rule of law. Moreover, right of suffrage means that every citizen with legal age has the right to participate in the election by casting a vote. The fifth one would be the freedom of speech. It ensures that the citizens are able to voice out their agreement, disagreement, affirmations, criticisms, and proposal to their government. Moreover, concurrent to the freedom of speech is the freedom of the press, which is defined as the effective way to disseminate information and speedily to communicate with the general public and vice versa for those who are in government. In relation, libel is a crime broadly characterized by maliciously publishing an article or write-up that may be detrimental to a person's character or may cause dishonor. The sixth and the last element would be pluralism. It is the recognition that the citizens are entitled to diverse beliefs and opinions, indicated by the presence of different religions, political groups, and associations. The uninhibited presence of the administration and opposition camps is an indicative of pluralism. It is to be noted that genuine democracy is characterized by pluralism. Indeed, my dear. Now, for the best part, we'll be talking about the two different types of democracy. Are you ready? The first type of democracy is the direct democracy. It is referred to as pure democracy, where citizens come together to decide on issues and pass laws through the power of voting. On the other hand, the second type of democracy would be the indirect democracy. It is referred as the representative democracy, where people elect leaders to act as the representative in the government. And for our last trivia, did you know that originally, democracy is not perceived as the best form of government? Yes, it is because some feared that democracy would later turn into tyranny. So that would be all for the trivia about democracy. Did you learn something, my dear? Months passed and Dumwhistle truly became the SSG president of their university. However, she was immediately blinded by greed. She used her position to bully and mock others, but then her nanay came to her rescue. She was scolded, and her nanay made her remember that one must not be blinded by greed, and that the students chose her because they believe that she will bring good to them, not to do the total opposite of it. As Damwhistle went her way to school, the words that her nanay told her kept on repeating in her subconscious mind. She was truly mad with herself for being a terrible leader. As she passed by the school gate, she hadn't noticed that her bullies were waiting for her at the gate. Yes, the girl who was once a bully now became the target of it.
Oh, here comes Mama's girl who uses her position to mock others.
I have regretted what happened. I already asked for forgiveness, and now? Why are you doing this?
Forgiveness? That was just a show.
Again, Frank, I am sorry. I have regretted those, and I have paid all of those with the morals I have learned. Please, let's stop this, okay?
So easy for you to say that.
Damwhistle didn't notice that Frank made his way to push her. The people that witnessed the scene laughed at her, and the loudest laugh came from Frank and his friends, who are now pointing at her with disgust. The only thing Damwhistle did was to cry and repent. She blames herself for everything that has happened with her. Yet again, she heard the voice of her nanay. With that, she stood up and faced Frank and everybody with a serious face, carrying a brave character.
I will forgive you for what you did. But let me tell you this.
She looked at everyone on the scene to make herself be the spotlight and for her to be heard.
The moment you use your power to mock someone is a very disgusting. Yes, I have once used my position as my power to hurt anyone, but I have regretted it. And to all of you, I hope this will be a lesson.
The people went silent and focused their ears to Damwhistle.
I know each of you here have different interests, likes and dislikes, hobbies, and even experiences, and the common denominator of that, because we are human. People, to be exact.
Frank interrupted Damwhistle.
What are you talking about? You look like a mad woman. A crazy woman.
Damwhistle just continued what she was saying.
Don't you dare stop me, Frank. Let me speak. I have my voice, so hear me out first before you burst your bubble. We people should respect each other's differences. We shouldn't use it against each other. For example, you, Frank. Since you have a lot of friends and have their support, now you have the audacity to mock anyone? Don't use the number of people that you got to harm others. Instead of letting others people ruin their own lives, Why don't you do that as well to yourself?
Are you out of your mind? You're speaking as if you're not a bully yourself.
It came from your mouth. Where I was a bully, and now I have changed.
Change. I don't believe in that.
Well, then now you must. We may have different perspectives in life, but that is not a hindrance for you to show equality to everyone. Don't just befriend those who support you and mock those who are against you. Be equal with your treatment, because everyone deserves that. People need to be treated equally.
Frank stopped for a moment and was struck by the words that came out from the muzzle's mouth. Not just Frank, but each person in the crowd became silent and absorbed every word that came from the muzzle's mouth. A girl from the crowd stood out and went to the muzzle's side.
I agree with Demisel. We're in a democratic country. We are under a democratic school. And thank you, Demisel, for speaking up. As a student of this school, I commend you for being accountable with your actions and educating others. And to you, Frank, it's not too late to change. Be a better person and start it from changing yourself. And then your treatment of other people will follow. And it will be for your own good, even for the common good of all.
Why is it about me now?
Because you are the representation of those people who stop others to have their own freedom. And Demoiselle here is just voicing her opinions for the common good. She may have used her position in a wrong way from the past, but now she has changed. Look at her now. She uses her position in a very admiring way with no biases at all. She is here to educate us all about the dimensions of democracy our school and each student should learn.
Oh, okay.
I hope you have learned something, Frank. Because if until now you haven't learned any and still you don't choose to change, then there's stupidity right there.
The scene ended when the school bell rang, making everyone groan because the classes will now start. The whistle looked at Frank, who is now looking on the ground. The whistle just smiled and tapped herself, hoping that everyone has now learned to respect people, show everyone with equal treatment, representing one's mistake by being accountable to it, and for making decisions with no bias and that will benefit the common good.
Years pass and Demoiselle is now a renowned leader in her community. While making her way to attend a project discussion, she was observing her surroundings and accidentally stepped on a poop which made her slip over and hit her head to the ground that lost her consciousness. As soon as she woke up, she was brought to a new place with different forms of government. Am I in Britain? Because the representatives here are all in the upper class are members of the royal family. In short, it is an aristocratic government. Oh, here are the aristocrats. As soon as she moved closer to the aristocrats, she was then brought to other dimension. What is this place? It seems like this country's economy is in good status. There were lots of innovation and private-owned property. I bet this is the US, a capitalist country. As she was enjoying the view in the US, she was hit by a flying saucer that came from nowhere. Again, she lost her consciousness and was brought to another place, but this time she was in an international conference. In the conference, every country has a representative who would share and explain their form of government, and luckily she is one of those people and will be representing the Philippines. Hello everyone, I am from Nigeria, which has a democratic form of government. The right to rule is held by the people. Ohio gozaimasu. We are from Japan, which is a constitutional monarchy. The power of our government is shared between two leaders. I am the Prime Minister of Parliament. I act as the head of the government and he is the monarch as the head of the state. I am from Canada. Our form of government is federalism, where authority is divided between central government and regional or local government. Hello, I am from Germany. My country has experienced a dictatorship government from 1933 to 1945 under Hitler, who had a total authority over the people in the country.
A pleasant morning. I am Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. Our form of government is monarchy. Monarchs rule the people.
A pleasant day. I am one of the members of oligarchy in Russia. As far as I am concerned, we rule over a large number of people. Individuals like me are wealthy or influential. Oligarchs may have similar interests or even be related. We keep contacts with the government in order not to lose our power.
Hola. I am from Spain, and our form of government is a regional or local government, in which power is concentrated in the hands of a small number of officials in a particular location. The country's central government supervises the country.
Magandang araw sa lahat. I am from the Philippines. We have a republic form of government. The people are governed by an elected president rather than a king. Also, in the past years Filipino people also experienced a revolutionary government during Bonifacio and Aguinaldo's times.
Hola, buenos dias. I am from Cuba, and our form of government is socialism, in which the government manages corporations that produce and distribute products and basic services.
Greece is my homeland. And our form of government is timocracy, in which representatives are selected based on their integrity. It was brought by BC Solon during 6th century to the government of Athens.
Hi, I am from North Korea. And as you all know, our state sets restrictions on people in terms of what they should believe, what principles they should follow, and what behaviors they should adopt, among other things, because we have a totalitarian form of government. We have been ruled by the same family since 1948.
I am from the Netherlands. We have a transitional form of government, which means that we are a transitioning country from one form of government to another.
Hello, I am from Iran, and our form of government is tyranny. Tyranny is a form of government in which the people are governed by a powerful individual, who wields the power to rule by overthrowing those in power, using methods not prescribed by statute. It is important to remember that tyrants are not always cruel and can be helpful and considerate to their subjects.